What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Fantasy Flex podcast from the Action Network and Fantasy Labs. I'm your host, Chris Raybon, and this is our NFL Week 18 DFS preview. As always, I'm joined by the most accurate ranker in the game, the odds maker, Sean Kerner. Sean, how's it going? Happy New Year.
What's up? Happy New Year and happy Week 18. Another week where we gave out like a handful of touchdown bet winners, too.
Yeah, Olamide, Coleman, Conklin, it's from the same game. McMillan, Wan'Dale Robinson, Tucker, Morrow from the same game. Quite a few. So, yeah, we'll try to keep it going here. We'll go through every game on the slate. Got a couple on Saturday and then the rest on Sunday. Quick reminder, all of our fantasy football content available right now over on fantasylabs.com. Our award-winning rankings, projections, and more at fantasylabs.com. Saturday, Browns at Ravens. Ravens 17.5-point favorites. The total 42.5. I'll start it off here for the Ravens. I'm going over Rashad Bateman here. He's been pretty quiet these last couple games, only one catch each, but I do like him. He's second in touchdown catches for the Ravens against man coverage, and the Browns, they do like to play man coverage. We'll see what they're doing. I mean, the season's lost, but that's generally what they've been playing here, so I like him. And then for the Browns, Elijah Moore, he's pretty cheap, and I mean, their whole backfield is banged up pretty much outside of Foreman. You had Ford get banged up and Strong as well. So we've seen Elijah Moore line up in the backfield at times, and they've been struggling to get him the ball otherwise. So that could be something we see here in this one, but just kind of a buy low on a guy that's been struggling in Elijah Moore with, the quarterback situation. Yeah. If we get Zappy, that would be a step up from DTR. So I'm hoping, we get some Zappy.
That's a good point on Moore, though. I'm going to have to give him some rushing stats. So he's basically like a dollar store Marvin Mims right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's not like a guarantee, but we've seen that before.
He has that upside for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so then we got the other AFC North game on Saturday. Bengals at Steelers. 1.5-point spread in this one in favor of Cincinnati on the road. The total 48.5. Sean, who you like in this one?
Yeah, so for the Bengals, Yosavash is usually our guy to pick here because they're so top heavy. He's usually the sneakiest play in DFS, and I think you could make the case for Khalil Herbert here. Even if Chase Brown's active, he might not be 100%, so Herbert could mix in. But I'm going to do something new here. I'm looking at our touchdown prop tool. There's already odds up for touchdowns for this game. And Joe Burrow is showing the biggest edge right now at 12-1. So I'm going to go with Burrow for the touchdown pick. I don't need you don't need me to tell you that Burrow's a good play in DFS and in other things, but I think he's sneaky for another rushing score here because he has more rushing upside than I think people realize. He just doesn't tap into it. He could just throw instead. And he's typically, he's dealt with injuries that have prevented him, from scrambling as much, but he's healthy right now. He's rushed for more than 19 yards in back-to-back games. This is a big game. Could see him tap into that more if needed. And Chase Brown's banged up. We saw when Chase Brown left the game, Burrow rushed it in. So I think that could be in play here. I don't know if they trust or don't trust Khalil Herbert at the goal line, but, more than willing to have Burrow drop back or rush it in himself. He has 2 touchdowns this year rushing in 16 games, so the odds should be closer to 8-1 if you just use that. But I'm projecting him closer to 10-1, so I think he's showing the most value right now at 12-1.
Like it.
And then okay, a more traditional one here for the Steelers side. Calvin Austin III. He and Pat Freiermuth are showing the biggest edge in our prop tool. So I think Austin's sneaky at plus 380 to score, and in DFS. His playing time wasn't really impacted by George Pickens' return last week. It was Van Jefferson that saw the biggest drop in playing time. Austin still ran a route on 80% of Russ Wilson's dropbacks. And actually all 4 of his touchdowns this year have been when Pickens is in the lineup. Probably because, he kind of needs the defense to, pay attention to Pickens and, open things up for Austin. So I think he's a sneaky bet here. And what should be a high scoring game where the Steelers will probably have to throw a lot. The Bengals defense is pretty leaky. So I think Calvin Austin is really sneaky here.
Yeah, he's been playing a lot better this year. He's kind of broken out. Did you see they designated Roman Wilson to return, so we can get some Roman Wilson in this game? Maybe, probably not. I don't think
more. Yeah, more of
healthy and active.
Yeah, it was more of us projecting him for 0.8 receptions, only to have to take it away come Sunday when he's inactive. Right.
Right. Yeah.
The Roman Wilson experience.
All right, let's go to the main slate. We have the Bills at the Patriots. Patriots 3-point home underdogs. The total is under 40 for this one. For the Patriots, still don't know exactly what's going to happen at quarterback for them. I'm hearing they could get Milton some snaps here, but I'll go with Kayshon Boutte. I think he's a good bet to play, even if they rest some of the other guys like maybe Kendrick Bourne, veteran could see a rest here, but Boutte has been playing pretty well this year. It hasn't really shown in the box score, but I think he's a guy that has improved for this team, and he's pretty cheap in DFS, gets a lot of air yards on his targets. He's out there almost 100% of the time in terms of his route rate. So like Boutte for the Pats. And then for the Bills, got to go with Ray Davis. I think you talked about him on our projections pod, how James Cook's probably risky this week. And yeah, I think Ray Davis is the guy that would benefit the most if they are kind of resting, going easy on starters, because Ty Johnson is now probably even more important than Davis because he's like that passing down back. And when you get to the playoffs, you're going to need that. So I think Davis would be the best bet to get a bunch of carries and snaps in this game. So like him, especially if they give any indication that they are indeed going to rest starters and, Cook is ruled out, that would be even better. But like Ray Davis in this spot. Next up, we got the Texans at the Titans. Titans are 1-point favorites to total 40.5. Could see the Texans rest starters at some point. Sounds like they're going to at least start the game with them. So that's something to watch for. But who do you like in this one?
So for the Texans side, it's going to be interesting to see, how they handle this. So assuming Mixon is either benched or taken out early, I think Dameon Pierce is a great option here. He is my pick for this game because, Dare might be treated kind of as a starter. He's really their pass catching back. He's going to be their pass catching back in the playoffs. So Pierce is really the backup. So I think Pierce would see, the most work out of the two if and when Mixon gets rest. And Pierce would obviously, I think, get the goal line carries as well. So I think Pierce is going to be sneaky here. We'll have to see what his price is, for touchdown market, and he might be chalky in DFS if Mixon's ruled outright. So wait and see on him. Cade Stover might be sneaky if they plan on limiting Dalton Schultz in this game. Stover looked great in preseason. Kind of reminds me of Dalton Schultz. So wouldn't be shocked if Stover balls out here if Schultz gets some rest. But Pierce is my pick for the Texans. For the Titans, I'm going a bit chalky here with Tony Pollard because I talked about him on our projections pod. Assuming he does play this week, Tajay Spears is in concussion protocol. Would have to imagine he's out. Pollard's ankle might be closer to 100% given he got to actually sit last week. And he has plenty to play for because he needs 83 rushing yards for 250K, 2 touchdowns for 250K. Julius Chestnut could be sneaky here, but if they get near the goal line and they're giving the ball to Julius Chestnut, we could see a similar, it was Mark Ingram screaming at Sean Payton, right? They pulled him out. You could see a situation like that. They probably don't want to piss off Tony Pollard. So I can't get too crazy here. I think if they get in touchdown range, they have to give it to Tony Pollard. So we'll have to see, what his touchdown market looks like. Might be chalky. So we might have to look at his 2 touchdown market because that's what he really needs. And it might be, 8-1 or something like that. So we'll see. There might be more value just doing that than just a standard anytime touchdown. So no odds up on him yet. We don't even know if he's playing, but I think he's going to be the guy to kind of bet on in terms of incentives motivating him here this week.
Yeah, I mean, there might be some correlated team totals or something too. Because the Titans scoring 2 touchdowns, that would be.
Yeah, it'd be this week. I'm not going to be on them, so they're going to win by 40. All right. You watch.
All right. AFC South. The other matchup here is Jaguars Colts. Colts 5-point favorites to total 45.5. I'm going to go with Kylan Granson here for the Colts. He hasn't gotten the end zone all year, but this Jags defense is dead last in DVOA against tight ends. And if it's Joe Flacco, I do think it gives him a better chance. He did catch 3 balls for 34 with Flacco under center last week. I just think there's, like you said, in the projection spot, just so many more completions and yards to go around. So this could be the week for Granson. He just had so many more routes than a guy like Adonai Mitchell. I think only had like 5 last week. And they even healthy scratched Will Mallory, who is kind of their other move tight end. So, I mean, I don't know if they're going to do that again. They tend to do that more when Flacco's playing. So, I mean, that just gives Granson even more routes. But even if not, I just like the matchup against this Jacksonville Jags defense that's been bad against league worst against tight ends all year long. And for the Jags, Parker Washington, he's got the second most yardage for Jacksonville against cover 3, and that's what the Colts tend to play at a higher rate than the league average under Gus Bradley. So, like Parker Washington to keep it going. Next up, we got the Commanders at the Cowboys. Cowboys are about 4-point favorites at home, total in the mid-40s. Sean, who do you like in this one?
I'm going to go with Chris Rodriguez Jr. here. I just gave out Tony Pollard, so I got to even it out here with more of a dart throw. But C-Rod is sneaky whenever I think, he could see more work, and that could be the case this week. The Commanders are locked into that 6 or 7 seed, so they might rest starters or pull them early. Jeremy McNichols would likely split work with Rodriguez in that spot. But I would expect Rodriguez to get like the goal line work like he did last week with a 2-yard touchdown run. So I think he's certainly a sneaky touchdown bet this week, and obviously that helps in DFS as well. But we'll have to wait and see like how the Commanders, attack this game. For the Cowboys side, this is easy for me. It's Kevontae Turpin. I mean, this guy is always sneaky, even with limited playing time, because just anytime he touches the ball, he's a threat to score. And last week he had a season high 59% routes run rate last week. So looks like they're trying to get him more looks on offense. Maybe see if he could be the next Rashid Shaheed. They're a different type of player, but, a good return guy that becomes, mainstay at wide receiver. So they got nothing to lose. Just, let him loose as a wide receiver this final week. See what he's got. Plus, they've been giving him 2 to 3 design rushing attempts a game. Could see that happening. He's returning kicks, so he has multiple paths to score. And now he's out there almost every snap running routes. So love his upside most weeks, but especially now with like double the playing time and then kind of evaluating for next year and beyond. Maybe they want to see if he could be more of a threat on offense. So I think he's a great week 18 type of bet here.
Oh, yeah, they definitely are. I mean, I think that would be his career high in terms of route rate, because I think I looked it up last week. Because I was trying to project him, and I was like, all right, I definitely want to project him for like his career high. Yeah. So like so I think it turned out to be like 40 something in the mid 40s.
45. Yeah.
I'm going to project him for like 45, 50 or something. But yeah, now that he's broken that again, it's like, it's pretty clear what they're just trying to see. And with Lamb out, I mean, you could just give him those slot snaps. So
true. Yep.
All right. Bucks hosting the Saints. Bucks 13.5-point favorites. The total 43.5. I'm gonna go with Sean Tucker here for the Bucks. A lot of focus going to be on Bucky and on Mike Evans, of course, with the incentives. But in these games where the Bucks have these large spreads and could have a blowout, we tend to see Sean Tucker mix in as that third running back. I think this was his breakout game against the Saints earlier in the year when Rachaad White, I believe, was out. So I could see him run it back here. He's pretty cheap, and there's a chance you get him for much of the second half, depending how competitive the Saints are. So like him. And then for the Saints, don't know exactly who's going to play here, but I'll go with Marquez Valdez-Scantling, coming off the goose egg, but did run around on 83% of the dropback. So I always think he's dangerous. He could have one catch for 50 or 70 yards and a touchdown and kind of pay off his value. So like him coming off the goose egg against the Bucks.
Yeah, does he gets like $250,000 with a touchdown here?
Oh yeah, I didn't know. I don't think I even do that, but yeah, that's just added to
even
it.
More. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Panthers at the Falcons. Falcons 8.5-point favorites. The total 47.5. Who do you like in this one?
Yeah, Panthers. Got to go with Jalen Coker here. We finally saw all the Panthers wide receivers healthy, and wasn't really sure how it would shake out, but it wasn't too surprising to see it was David Moore be the odd man out, at least in terms of playing time. I know he still had a pretty decent game, but Coker saw 90% routes run rate, so basically his typical role. And they probably just want to see the 7th round rookie get as much work as possible here. He's been a big surprise this season. I think he's going to keep rolling here. No Chuba Hubbard. So the Panthers are going to be a little bit more pass heavy. They got blown out, so they only ran it 13 times. But I think even in a close game, they're going to be more pass heavy here. So I think they should let Bryce Young air it out here. And Coker's been excellent this season. So I think we get one more good game from just a surprising rookie season from Jalen Coker here. And on the Falcons side, got to go with Kyle Pitts here. The Falcons are a top-heavy team. Can't go Drake London, Darnell Mooney every week. So I think Pitts has kind of earned the right to be a sneaky value play now, or a bust, whatever way you want to look at it. But
one or the other.
One or the other. But he is coming off a good game. 4 catches for 44 yards and a touchdown. Maybe the QB change gave him the biggest boost out of everybody. Maybe all he needed was a left-handed quarterback to flip things around for him, literally. So I know he's been a disappointment, but he's still talented. He's still only 24 years old. I feel like he's been in the league 7 years, and he's still only 24 years old. So one final week to get tricked into being high on Kyle Pitts. So let's go with Kyle Pitts here.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see it. Guys like that always go off like when it's already, it's like all said and done, season's over.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah,
no kidding.
Bears at the Packers. Packers 9-point favorites, total 40 and a half. Excuse me. For the Bears, got to go Rome Odunze here. Got that touchdown overturned against the Seahawks. That was unfortunate, but still has the most. Him and Courtland Sutton both have 17 end zone targets and no end zone touchdown catches this year. So got to go with Rome Odunze. Good bet to get in the end zone here. Don't know if the Packers are going to go full tilt for the entire game. And then for the Pack, Emmanuel Wilson, the backup running back, he's been mixing in more for Jacobs. They definitely have to keep Jacobs healthy regardless. So I think you could continue to see that trend. Wilson, 32% of the snaps last week, 6 carries, 29 yards, and a touchdown. He scored in back-to-back weeks, so I like him to keep it rolling here against Chicago. Next up, we got the Giants at the Eagles. Eagles favored by 3, the total 38.5 in this one. Probably see the Eagles rest starters here and not let Saquon go for the record. Who knows? But that's what it looks like. Who do you like in this one?
Yeah, so I think last week is the first time all season I wasn't stuck with a Giants game. So of course, Darius Slayton scores last week, a 32-yard bomb. But luckily, you picked Wandale, who scored as well. So can't complain there. So I'm going to go Darius Slayton here. I keep waiting to see Jalen Hyatt see more playing time at the expense of Darius Slayton, but it just isn't happening. Slayton ran a route 80% of the time last week. Maybe that changes here, but, I liked what I saw from Slayton last week, who, after his touchdown, I guess you could hear him scream, F your tank.
Yeah.
So clearly he's playing.
Why does he not like Tank Bigsby?
Oh, I know, right? Yeah, what do you got against Bigsby? But I love the passion. So maybe that's just a 1 week thing. Now that they won't get the first pick, probably. Now he's going to stop caring, but love the passion. So going to stick with him here, and maybe he'll score on the week I actually give him out. And on the Eagles side, like you said, they're probably resting starters. Don't even know if Kenny Pickett's going to be under center. It could be Tanner McKee. So they're very tricky to project. It's also tricky to project Kenny Gainwell, who might be considered like a semi-starter where, I could see them giving him, a big workload or, not playing him at all or just limited snaps. It could be a big Ty Davis price game if Will Shipley can't suit up. So I went with a receiver here, Johnny Wilson, because, all of these receivers are projected to get between like 2 and 3 catches. Nobody really stands out, but I think Wilson's probably the best bet to score a touchdown. I call him like the Jolly Green Giant. He just unmistakable where he is on the field. He's 6'6", 230. kind of like a quasi tight end. So he's a great end zone target. If they do score a touchdown here through the air, I think it's most likely going to go to Johnny Wilson. So I think he's a sneaky bet here. And we, won't have, the tush push. You won't have Saquon Barkley ripping off a 50-yard touchdown run to take away from Wilson. So he might actually have some more cracks to actually score a touchdown here the most weeks.
Yeah, I think he got one taken off the board earlier this year too. Like I think he got one overturned at some point. So he
has one official, right? And then he had one taken off, and he had one where like Hurts overthrew him, where it looked like Wilson was open, just Hurts didn't hit him, but it looked like he could have caught that. So he could technically have 3 touchdowns on the season.
Yeah. I mean, at that height, he's definitely the favorite.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Chargers at the Raiders. Raiders 5.5 point dogs at home. Total is 41. This could be one where the Chargers aren't incentivized, so that could shift. But going with Michael Mayer for the Raiders, he's just $100 over the minimum on DK at tight end. 54% route rate last week, and yards per route run just hasn't been great for him all year. I mean, just 0.90 versus zone, but that's compared to 0.09 versus man. So 10x better versus zone. The Chargers do tend to be zone heavy. So like him in this spot. And then for the Chargers, Darius Davis, he's a guy, kind of another one of these like Marvin Mims type guys where just speed, and they try to get him some design carries, like another Turpin, I should say. Just they try to get him some design carries every game, try to get him a couple of routes, and he's starting to get in the end zone through the air as well. So we've seen that a couple of times over these last few weeks. So like Davis at 3,400, and he could see a ton of playing time if the Chargers don't have anything to play for. So like him either way here. Next up, we got the Seahawks at the Rams. Seahawks are 3-point road favorites. The total 41.5. Who do you like in this one?
Well, I'm going to go with Noah Fant. I get one last hurrah with Fant here. Seattle's so top heavy. What am I going to do? DK Metcalf, Jackson Smith, Najigba.
Tyler Lockett. I mean, at this point.
I was going to say, you don't need me to tell you to play those 2 receivers. And old man Lockett doesn't do much anymore.
Nope.
Finally showed some signs of life last week, but Fant's been doing just fine despite not scoring touchdowns. Of course, he's still seeing a ton of playing time. Going to be out there. 75% of Geno Smith's highly incentivized snaps this week.
Yep.
And he posted another solid line, 4 catches for 43 yards, but still has yet to score a touchdown for the Seahawks in general, right? The last 2 years. So, again, I'm not saying he should have like 10 plus touchdowns for them by now, but it should be higher than 0. So I think just going to roll with him one more time. If anything in DFS, he gives you a handful of catches, some yards, which at the tight end position is pretty good these days. So going to go with Fant there. And then the Rams side, I am not going to let this opportunity pass without giving out Blake Corum. Even though he'll probably be chalky, we'll have to see what his touchdown odds are. Obviously, if his touchdown odds are like minus 150, I'm staying away. But we'll see where they set him. But this is a game where I think he's going to just see the Kyren roll, which obviously comes with massive touchdown upside. But the fact that the Rams are resting starters, their team totals under 20 means there's probably, not going to be as many touchdowns to go around. Corum won't have Puka Nacua setting him up for easy scores the same way Kyren Williams does. So his touchdown odds will be lower, but he should be in that role. And I think McVay will want to give him, a big workload to see, how he handles that this week. So I'm all in on Corum this week. And, even if he's chalky, I don't care. I got to roll with him here.
Yeah, man. Love it. Just keep that motherfucker Cody Schrader the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Yeah. He started the year on the Niners, right?
Yeah, no, I think he was on the Niners preseason, and then the Rams claimed him before week 1 or something like that, and he's just been inactive.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's a speedster too. He might be exciting, and it is Sean McVay, so anything can happen. So yeah, he could mix in. Hopefully not, but hopefully it's all Corum here this week.
Let's go. All right, Dolphins Jets. Ugh, this is not a fun game, but
yeah.
Game I can see the Jets blowing them out too. Jets are plus 2.5. No, down to plus 1.5 at home. Total 40.5. I'm gonna go back to Tyler Conklin again. I thought about Lazard here, but I think Rodgers is gonna start. He'll probably kind of force feed Adams yet again, but Conklin does have the matchup here against the Dolphins. They are bottom 5 in DVOA against tight ends, and we saw Conklin come up with a pretty good game last week in a spot that was kind of predictable as well. So going back to him here, and then for the Dolphins, got to go Malik Washington. I mean, you could see Waddle back, but I don't know. I mean, the fact that Tua didn't play last week, I don't know if you see Waddle this week. But Washington has averaged 4 catches for 40 yards over his last 3 games. He is dangerous, can do it on handoffs, can do it through the air. And if Waddle comes back, well, he'll just be even more contrarian. So I still like Malik Washington, guys like this late in the year.
What are the chances Tua plays? Do you have any idea? Like the line?
I think it sounds pretty low. It sounds low to me. Right? Because the fact that he didn't play last week.
The line would indicate, like, I don't know, like a 70% chance he's playing.
Yeah,
I don't know.
They haven't ruled him out.
The Jets are just hard to cap right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, if he's out, I'd be on the Jets plus 1.5. But yeah, just haven't really. This is a must-win game, right? So like, if Tua can play, I think he will play. But he's that hurt that he can't play right now. It's kind of weird.
I mean, the fact that he didn't play last week kind of gives me pessimism that he would play this week. But I mean, this team isn't that great either way. It's just not a great team. So they're just tough to handicap as well. But regardless, Conklin and Washington for me. Niners at the Arizona Cardinals. This is another one. The Cardinals are 3-point favorites now. So that they were originally underdogs. It doesn't sound like Purdy is going to go. So the total is 44. What are you thinking in this one?
Yeah. It sounds like Purdy might not go, which, got to downgrade all the pass catchers. But I'm still going to go with the rookie here, Ricky Pearsall. I was trying to buy low on Ricky a couple weeks ago. And I was like a week early because, of course, he had his breakout game last night, 8 catches, 141 yards, and a touchdown against the Lions. Look for him to just keep rolling the final week. Dobbs is obviously a drop-off. Maybe not so much in talent. Like, he's going to be running the ball more, so they're going to scramble more. But Dobbs is a decent enough quarterback where we can maybe trust one of these guys in DFS or like a touchdown bet or something like that. So I think Pearsall, just want to give him as many looks as they can his rookie season, evaluate next year and beyond. So I think he'll keep it rolling here, even if it's Dobbs under center. And on the Cardinals side, it's a lot trickier, especially with the running backs because, James Conner was held out after it looked like he re-aggravated his knee injury. No reason to force him this week. I doubt he plays. And Trey Benson's banged up. If he ends up suiting up and is healthy, he would be a great play here. I'm going to just go with Michael Carter and assume that, James Conner's ruled out and maybe Trey Benson's ruled out again, or he's like not healthy and sees limited role. Michael Carter is a decent running back. I think he's solid. I think he's underrated. Anytime he's going to get, a bigger workload, I think he's going to produce. And we saw that last week. When he got the chance, he stepped up with 81 total yards after Connor went down. DJ Dallas barely mixed in. Yeah. So it was all Carter. So we'll have to see how this shakes out, obviously. But I think Carter will be sneaky again here either way.
Yeah. It really comes down to Benson probably because, I can't see Connor going back in for what at this point?
And they re-signed him. Like, they don't want him getting hurt now and missing time next year. It'd be pointless.
Yeah, imagine if that's how James Conner ends up missing a handful of games. It's like, after all of this, to turn on the last game. You can't do that.
Yeah, wait, so he has played in every game so far.
Yeah.
Granted, he didn't make it through, but he might miss his first game of the season. Of course, Trey Benson's hurt. Right. So, we won't see if Benson has top 15 upside like I thought. But it could be Michael Carter this whole time who had that upside.
Yeah, and Kyron is what is he like? Lead the league in carries almost. It's like
Kyron hasn't missed a single snap this year. Right? There was one play his shoe got untied, so he went on the sideline. So Corum got a few extra carries, and I was all excited about it. But yeah, Kyron was healthy all year. James Conner is healthy all year, so not good for Trey Benson and Blake Corum owners.
Yeah. Kyron's second in the league and carries. Connor's 12th at 236. But yeah,
Yep.
no missed games for them. All right. So we got the Chiefs at the Broncos. Broncos 10-point favorites. This is a must win for them. I'm going to go with Jaleel McLaughlin on the Broncos side. He didn't get that many snaps in his return to action, but he did get a carry on 10 of his 14 snaps. So clearly shows they're still trying to get him the ball. I think he still led the team in carries, actually, even playing the third most snaps in the backfield. Javonte Williams. How many carries did Javonte get?
0, right? Or
0. Did we talk about this? It's like, they do not want this dude carrying the football.
Yeah, I saw that he didn't finish with negative yards, so I assumed it was 0.
Oh man, poor Javonte. But yeah. Gotta roll with McLaughlin here because Mims is going to be obvious chalk. So we'll get off of him for this one. But McLaughlin could be back in kind of that lead back role this week. They could have a positive game script, so that could be less Williams and more of McLaughlin and Estime. And then for the Chiefs, Carson Steele. He'll probably be that feature back. We've seen him in that role before, so we know he can be productive there. So I think it'll be him and probably P. Ryan on some passing down. So got to roll with him in a game that the Chiefs are going to sit starters.
I knew Javonte was getting passing down work because I saw you routes rate like around 50%. Yeah. I didn't know he got 2 balls for 0 yards. He has had one of the most fascinating game logs I've ever seen in my entire life. The 4 carries for 1 yard and 1 touchdown, 4-1-1 line. And you called it several weeks ago, but it's been
they're gonna stop giving him the ball. He gets he'll get a couple of touches, and if they go for negative yards, he just doesn't get the ball the rest of the game.
8 carries for -2 yards. How is that even possible? Just an enigma.
It's Javonte. I think part of it is at one point it was kind of they weren't always using him in the strict pass down role. So I think it was kind of more telegraphed, maybe kind of because Estime was kind of like that too, where he wasn't getting many routes before it. So I don't know. It's been a weird year for them, but this is probably the best they've done it with getting Mims involved, getting McLaughlin and Estime to split the running back carry work, and then Javonte in the pass game. Because he actually looked good in a couple of receiving plays. Maybe not this week, but the week before. But yeah, it's been ugly. All right, the final game of the year should be a good one. Number 1 seed on the line. Vikings at the Detroit Lions. Lions 2.5-point favorites. Total up to 57.5. So expecting a high scoring game here. Who do you like?
Well, this is the first time I think I've gotten a Vikings game all year, so I'm going to have to carry your torch here and go with your boy Jalen Naylor. He's kind of the Yoshi of the Vikings, where it's so top heavy, but he's the clear number 3 receiver.
Yep.
Who's out there running route 65% of the time in a very potent passing offense. They should throw a ton here. The total's pushing 60 now, so we should see plenty of points here. So love Naylor. It's one of those things where if teams are guarding, Justin Jefferson, they're worried about Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, you could leave Naylor wide open like last week for a touchdown. So I think he's a great pick here. And on the Lions side, going to go chalky here, but I'm going to go Sam Laporta. He's actually showing the biggest edge in our prop tool right now at plus 210, which I think is a bit high, especially considering must-win game, high total. And Laporta, he had a really slow start to the season. He was dealing with injuries. Even when he was out there running a lot of routes, wasn't seeing many targets. But we have seen vintage Laporta the past few weeks picking up where he left off his rookie season, just having some massive games here, touchdown in 2 straight games. So I think Porta is an excellent play here, and kind of shocked they're offering him at plus 210 in the touchdown market. I'm projecting him closer to plus 170. So it's kind of interesting to see such a chalky, obvious guy actually showing value right now.
I mean, probably because the total's rising faster than the touchdown odds can keep up.
I know, right?
More points, but then it's the touchdown odds are lagging.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
You think they're more or less likely to do a trick play that goes to Penei Sewell or something in a game like this?
I think it depends how it unfolds. I think if it's close, maybe a little less likely. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because like this is, I don't think you want to like. It's like you don't want to like mess it up for the players because you are. It's like a game where it's like you're playing for this number one seed, but it's not like you're playing to get in the playoffs or anything. So it's like you don't want to screw the players out of like playing for real, and then like somebody gets hurt and it's like all for naught because you're just fucking around with trick players.
Yeah.
So I think they can play a
Right.
little like I'll probably be on the under in this game. Like I think like playoff environment, divisional game, second matchup. Like I know the Lions defense is horrible, but you can still see a lot of long drives, two good offenses. So
Yeah. That's true.
yeah, I could see a little less like shenanigans in this one.
Yeah, well, yeah. To be clear, I get one of the trick plays was just a normal pass to Laporta the other week when Goff and Gibbs
the
pretended
fall,
to
the
fall.
stumble bum.
Yeah, that was just a normal pass to Laporta. So they're getting creative on just normal plays. So I guess either way, it probably helps Laporta here.
Yeah, no, like I think I don't think we'll see as many like the one because like you also don't want to like have Penei Sewell rolling out or whatever. Like they
Right.
Yeah,
This is
Decker
Ben
was
Johnson
already
we're
hurt
talking.
this year. Like I gotta chill.
This is Ben Johnson we're talking about. He was trying to show off last night in front of Shanahan.
I mean, I guess you could just send
game.
Dan Skipper out for the
That's what I'm
sacrifice
saying.
to the Wolves.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
oh man! All right, we got a Parlay Express account in the Action app where we highlight experts' long shot and parlay picks. So we're gonna do a round robin again. I think we had a couple of our guys hit last week. Who was it? Tucker and Keon Coleman last week. So we'll each choose two. Who's your first pick for a touchdown for our Parlay Express round robin?
Yeah, let's go with Sam Laporta just because he is showing the most value in the prop tool here. I know he's a bit shocky, but I promise the next one will be more of a long shot.
All right, I'm gonna go with let's go Carson Steele. I think he's a
love
good
it.
Bet good bet to get in the end zone if the Chiefs score some points.
Yeah, 1 yard touchdown.
Right. I mean, yeah, at this rate, it'll be P. Ryan. But who's your second pick?
Well, let me think. So who's going to have bigger touchdown odds, like Kevontae Turpin or Jalen Coker?
Longer touchdown odds? Got to be probably Turpin because Coker is playing 90% of snaps.
Yeah, you think it'll be Turpin? Okay, then I'll go Turpin here.
Yeah.
I think just with this playing time he's seeing, and just the fact that he could score from anywhere, and we get these returns included, got to go Turpin then.
Love it. All right, I'm gonna go with. Let's go with Emmanuel Wilson getting for a third straight.
Oh, nice.
I think he could get some carries. A lot of different ways he could get some carries. So yeah, we'll go. Got two backup running backs for you.
I love.
You got the heavy hitters. You got the heavy hitters.
Well, Turpin's a dart throw, but yeah, Laporta just mix it in there to just I guess increase the odds of him hitting. But I loved our round robin last week with the four like dice roll receivers. We got two of them, so I like this mix. We could certainly hit all four, I think.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we got two running backs who are probably going to get a goal line carry at some point, and Laporta is obviously going to get shots, and Turpin, like you said, he gets so many different ways of handling the football: runs, passes, returns. So I like it. Too bad. I mean, too bad. I should have just gotten Marvin Mims, so we just got him back in there with Turpin. But I think he's going to be so chalky this week. Like we did shout him out on the projection last week, so that was hope somebody maybe somebody in like a deep league needed that week 17. Like
they did. People reached out. They used them in fantasy DFS. Did you use them in DFS? Please tell us you use them in DFS. Had a bunch of people say they bet on him to score a touchdown, so they absolutely cashed in on that. Mims is one of those people that could be hurt by them force feeding Sutton the ball. But either way, Mims only needs one big play to really cash in DFS or the touchdown market. So still like him this week too.
Yeah, I mean, I got to go with Carson Steele because I'm going to be on the Chiefs in this one. The line moved essentially two touchdowns from them resting their starters. Like Mahomes is worth half, like one of those touchdowns, but like 7 more points? I don't know. So yeah, I got to go with my guy Carson to get in there.
I love it. If they have first and goal on the one, it's like a 99% chance it's going to be a run to Carson Steele, and he will convert it for a touchdown. So absolutely love it.
All right. So yeah, our round robin: Sam Laporta, Carson Steele, Kevontae Turpin, Emmanuel Wilson. Be sure to follow the Parlay Express handle on the Action Network app. That's going to do it for our NFL Week 18 DFS preview episode. Be sure to subscribe to the Fantasy Flex Pod so you don't miss an episode. And we'll keep rolling out the projections pod and the DFS show throughout the postseason. FantasyLabs.com is where all of our fantasy football content is at. You can find Sean on X at @_oddsmaker. I'm at Chris Raybon. We're at those same handles on the free award-winning Action Network app. Happy New Year. Let's get this money.